I think Nigel Farage is quite a brave man to stand up and say what he does, because he really speaks from his heart, and he really wants to get that message out. And frankly, you know, Merkel may be a good woman, but what they're trying to do and take away rights, even in the European Union, for people to protest, yes, that's disgusting. And you know, we've passed this treaty. These are what they've done. Look what they've done. This is in the Mail today. This should have been in years ago, so people could see the actual breakdown. Foreign policy, criminal justice, sovereignty, labour laws, transport, defence, immigration. When you read them, your hair will curl at what's going to happen. This nation will be decimated, I can tell you that. And since we've joined Europe, look at how much we've lost. We've lost all our engineering industry, because that was signed away by Heath, apparently. Yes, I'm angry. A lot of people are angry. People who understand the situation, people who have studied history. And it doesn't take long to know, and I'm telling you right now, there's a man that said just now, oh, you must be 90 years old to know this. It wasn't long ago, and that's his ignorance that he doesn't know it, that the German Chancellor said twice, 2 or 3 times, I'm talking only about, I think it was about 10 years ago, that if Britain doesn't join, there could be war. Now that sounds like a German speaking, you see. He's threatening us with war if we don't join. And our cowardly leaders have acquiesced and signed all our rights away. They have treated us like enemies. They have lied to us. They have taken away our rights. They've taken our rights away and sold them for a pottage. And you know, Oliver Cromwell made a speech many years ago, and this is what he said. This is what he said to a corrupt parliament like we've had sitting there. These men may not think they're corrupt, but they are corrupt. You can see from the expenses scandal, and you can see from what they've signed away, all our rights away. They just signed them away without even looking at them. They have not had time to study these laws. There's 200,000 laws being passed. And what do? We send money. We send 40 million a day. That's 14 billion a year to Europe. 14 billion. And now they've taken another 4 billion off us for Europe. But the thing is, 95% of the money is missing. That's not according to me, incidentally. Don't shoot me, because I'm just the messenger. That's what the EU's own auditors say. Very brave men, I would say, to do that, because they tend to fire everybody who in actual fact tells the truth. So let's hear what our friend Oliver Cromwell said when he cleared the Parliament. Let me tell you what he said. He said, "It's high time for me to put an end to your sitting in this place, which you have dishonoured by your contempt of all virtue." And I could also say contempt for the British people and contempt for the British Parliament. He said for contempt for all virtue, and that is right. "And defiled by your practice of every vice. Ye are a factious crew, and enemies to all good government. Ye are a pack of mercenary wretches, and would, like Esau, sell your country for a mess of pottage, and, like Judas, betray your God for a few pieces of silver." There we are. And that's what they've done. I honestly believe that, and a lot of people, and I'm not in the minority. Is there a single virtue now remaining amongst you? Is there one vice you do not possess? You have no more religion than my horse. Gold is your God. Which of you have not bartered your conscience for bribes? And for those people who say religion and beliefs are unimportant, please look at what's happened in Parliament. The lies and the deceit and the corruption and the treachery that we've suffered in this time. Then you must believe that you need a belief. You need people who believe things, because people who have beliefs, and this is the point he's making, will not do these things. Ye are grown intolerably odious to the whole nation. You were deputed here by the people to get grievances redressed. Are yourselves gone? And what he's saying is we had a grievance, we had lots of grievances, but the main grievance that a lot of us have had is the fact that 75% to 80% of it, by poll after poll after poll, are not happy about Europe. And these people hid it. Even the media have hid it. Cameron has never asked any questions about the 95% missing budget. None of that's been asked about. So please understand that this is a completely unacceptable situation. Then he says, "Take away that shining bauble there and lock up the doors. In the name of God, go." And he's right. We're going to have an election next year, and I want to tell as many people as possible. The Lib Lab Con have conned us for the last time. I've been a conservative all my life. My family were conservative, and their grandparents were conservative. That's how it was. So we were sort of gut conservatives. What a mistake. What a mistake. This is what it's brought to. The man gives us a cast iron guarantee, which was fluff. It wasn't cast iron. It was full of rot. He never intended to do it, because if you look at the dates and everything else, he knew that he wouldn't have to fulfill that. We cannot rely on these men any longer. What we need to do is do what this man did. But don't rely on one man. Ourselves, we've got to actually start clearing that parliament. Clear it. And start voting for anybody else other than the Lib Lab Con. And I say UKIP, vote for them. Vote for independence. Yes, vote for independence, provided they don't want to give everything away as usual. Quite a few people do, but I'm not saying independents do. There's quite a lot of good men out there who are about as horrified as me, but cannot get on the conservative Lib Lab list because they are conservative. And yes, even BNP. That's why they're scared of them, because they've got a leader. I'm not saying I'd like to see the man in power, but what I would like to see, and this is what I would really like to see, I'd like to see this parliament from this Lib Lab Con, which have had all the same policies which are so wrong and hateful to the British people. They've treated us like prisoners. They haven't actually listened to us. No matter how many times I've written, and if you go into the Times this morning, there was 750, and they cut a lot of those things out. So there's probably about 1,500 to 2,000 people, when I looked early this morning, who'd commented on this, highly upset about the situation, as I am, and many who are as like us. I'm a historian. I've also been in current events from a very young age, because my parents were into it. And when I know what I'm talking about. We are in serious trouble. Europe is just taking us for a ride. And all this money that has been given to banks, this should not have been given to banks. It should have actually been given to those organizations that are right. These organizations are failed organizations. We're putting the whole national wealth and more into that. I mean, can you imagine? Brown sold, for instance, our gold reserves, 60% of them, for $275 an ounce, were against advice from the Bank of England. And what did they do? It went up to 1,070. That alone has cost us billions. I mean, we don't need men in charge like that. We can't afford him. Every time he says right, this is a right decision, I want to jump under the desk because I know it's wrong. I know that what he says is wrong. He has this happy knack of getting it wrong, or is it by plan? And the way he signed up that constitution, or the treaty, as he wants to call it, but it's the constitution, and he literally climbed on the desk and signed it up there so he couldn't be seen. I mean, that to me is so wrong. You should have, if it was right, he shouldn't have been so like that. And what he's done is he's withheld the right to a referendum that was twice promised by Blair. And Blair also welched on that deal. We must get these people out. I tell you, stop voting for Lib Lab Con. Vote for UKIP, you vote for independence, and even BNP. I couldn't care what we do. I'm not saying you should completely vote all of Lib Lab Con out, but I mean, at the present moment they hold a large proportion of Parliament. Get them cut down to a rump and put other people in. So at least we've got some balance back again, and we can get our country back again. Ask the Jews what it's like to have no country. Ask them. What they're doing is handing this nation over, trussed up, to 200,000 laws that nobody's ever seen. That was what caused the American Revolution, wasn't it? That's why the Americans revolted against George III, because they passed laws without any representation. That's what they've done. I couldn't care what they say. The MEPs had no right to do anything. All they're there is to pass the laws, and if they don't, they're hauled before the commission. Thank you very much for listening, and please do something about this.